You know, when an online harasser lives in another country, it can feel like they're totally untouchable, like the police are powerless and that you're just completely alone. Well, we're here to show you that's simply not true. So let's dive right in and show you a clear path forward. We'll use a real case to show you how you can stop the seemingly unstoppable. This is the reality for so many people dealing with online abuse. It's that feeling of being completely paralyzed, right? That your whole life is being controlled by someone who could be thousands of miles away. This one sentence just perfectly captures the terror and the incredibly high stakes when a digital connection is turned into a weapon against you.
We're going to walk you through the story of one of our clients, who we're going to call Sonia. Now, it's absolutely vital that we protect her privacy, so we've changed her name and every other identifying detail. Her story is just so powerful, not just because of the abuse, but because it's a story of resilience and taking back control. It is proof that even in the darkest, most hopeless situations, there is a way out.
So you might be asking, how did it ever get this bad? Well, it started pretty innocently. Sonia, who's a popular streamer, met a guy on the Meet Me app. That connection turned into a virtual relationship over on Snapchat. But then, the whole dynamic started to shift. It got controlling. He started dictating what she could and couldn't do online. And then, it just escalated into terrifying threats and blackmail, using intimate recordings he'd made as leverage.
The impact was, well, it was devastating. It took over every part of her life. This wasn't just some online spat. This was relentless psychological warfare. He stalked her with countless fake profiles. He made sickening threats that involved her child, attacking the very core of who she is. Her career, her community, even her own home. Suddenly, nothing felt safe anymore. The stress was so bad it was affecting her health and her ability to just be a mom.
And this brings us to the absolute core of the problem for so many victims. Her harasser was in the United States, but Sonia was here in the UK. This international barrier can feel like a giant impossible wall when you're trying to get justice. It's the first question anybody in this situation asks. You're the victim of a crime, so you go to the police. So why on earth can't they do anything? It is just so incredibly frustrating, and it makes you feel completely isolated. And that is exactly what happened to Sonia. She did everything right, you know? She reported it to the police on both sides of the Atlantic, but she kept hitting the same roadblock. The answer was always, because the harasser lives abroad, our hands are tied. It's a story we hear all the time, and it leaves victims feeling utterly abandoned. So here's what's going on behind the scenes. It all comes down to one word: jurisdiction. Local police, they have all the power they need inside their own borders. They can investigate, they can get warrants, they can arrest somebody in the next town over, no problem. But the second it crosses an international border, their authority just stops. Any kind of official action needs this slow, complicated referral process between countries that, frankly, just isn't built to handle urgent threats like this. But here's the thing, that is not the end of the story, not even close. This is where we flip the script from the problem to the solution. Because just because police jurisdiction has its limits, that doesn't mean you are powerless. The law itself can become your shield. And trust me, it can reach across any border. Okay, this is the really crucial part. We told Sonia that UK law was firmly on her side. You've got things like the Protection from Harassment Act. It makes it illegal to pursue any course of conduct that amounts to harassment. And here's the key, it applies wherever the harm is felt, not just where the harasser is sitting. And threatening to release her private images, that is a clear-cut criminal offense of blackmail. These laws gave us a rock-solid legal basis to go after him. So, what was our first weapon of choice? A cease and desist letter. Now, this isn't just a strongly worded email. It's a formal legal document. It officially puts the harasser on notice. It says, we know what you're doing, it's illegal, and if you don't stop right now, further legal action in both the UK and the US is coming for you. And that's the whole point, isn't it? The letter sent a crystal clear message. It told the harasser in no uncertain terms, hiding in another country is not going to protect you. Your actions have very real legal consequences, and we will enforce them no matter where you are. It's all about shifting the power right back to where it belongs, with the victim. Of course, a legal notice is totally useless if you don't know who to send it to or where to find them. A lot of these abusers hide behind fake profiles and layers of anonymity, thinking there's some kind of ghost online. So the next critical step for us is to unmask the anonymous. And we do it using a process called OSINT. That stands for Open Source Intelligence. It sounds technical, but really, it's about methodically gathering and analyzing all those little digital footprints a person leaves online. We then use that information to build a real-world picture of who they are and, most importantly, where they live. For us, this whole process is super systematic. We started with the digital breadcrumbs Sonia gave us, usernames, maybe a phone number. Then we use these really specialized, legally compliant intelligence tools to analyze huge data sets, connecting those little online clues to an actual person. This isn't about spying. It's about using data to build an evidence-based picture that will hold up in a legal setting. It gives us a name, an address, and the total confidence we need to take action.
And, we really believe this in-house intelligence work is absolutely essential. In these anonymous online abuse cases, you just can't separate the legal strategy from the investigation. They have to work together perfectly in sync. Having these capabilities under one roof means we can move way faster and more effectively to get the results our clients, like Sonia, so desperately need.
Okay, let's pivot and talk about you for a minute. If you are in a situation like this, it can feel, well, completely overwhelming. But there are immediate, practical steps you can take right now to start reclaiming your safety. This is your action plan.
So, what can you do today? 4 crucial steps. First, preserve everything. Don't rely on the social media platforms. Take screenshots of every message, every post, every fake profile. This is your evidence. Second, do not engage. I know it's tempting to fight back, but it usually just adds fuel to the fire. Block them, absolutely, but do not delete the history. Third, secure your accounts. Change your passwords and turn on 2-factor authentication everywhere you possibly can. And finally, number 4, contact specialists. As Sonia's story proves, just because the first door you knock on doesn't open, it does not mean you are out of options.
So, what happened with Sonya after she decided to take action? This is the part of the story that I really want you to hear. This is the direct result of a strong combined legal and investigative strategy.
The result was immediate and decisive. We used our intelligence work to pinpoint the harasser's location in Texas. We then had our legal letter physically served to him, in person. And the effect? Instantaneous. The harassment stopped, immediately and completely, for good.
And just look at what that meant for her life. All contact from him just ceased. The fake profiles vanished into thin air. She could finally go back to her work without constantly looking over her shoulder. Her peace of mind, her sense of safety, everything that monster had stolen from her was finally restored.
And what's really amazing here, all of this was achieved without ever having to step foot inside a courtroom. Zero. No court proceedings were needed at all. A strong, well-executed legal strategy was enough to end the entire nightmare, saving Sonia all the stress and the cost of a long, drawn-out legal battle.
This is our message to anyone watching this who feels hopeless right now. Please persist. If you've been turned away by the authorities, do not let that be the final answer. The internet might have created new ways for people to cause harm, but it also allows for new, modern, and effective ways to fight back. Solutions absolutely exist.
And let's end on this. If you take one thing away from this, let it be this. Distance does not equal impunity. Just because someone is hiding in another country, it does not mean they can get away with it. With the right strategy, a strong, clear legal position can give you the power to end the abuse and to take back your life.